welcome to our lesson on multiplication with polynomials. We have already learned how to identify terms that are alike and combine them, but remember that when we added terms together, they stayed the same. In this lesson, we will see how multiplying terms together actually can create new terms. First, we'll look at some basic rules for multiplying terms. Then we'll start multiplying with the simplest cases first and move on to the more complex ones. Let's begin by looking at some basic rules for multiplying terms, or monomials, together. First, we multiply the coefficients together. Remember, the coefficients are the numbers in front of the variables. Then we multiply the variables together by adding the exponents. We can handle problems this way because in multiplication the order and grouping of our factors doesn't matter. Let's take a look at an example to see what we mean. Consider multiplying 3x squared times 5x cubed. Remember, what we really have here is 3 times x squared times 5 times x cubed. If we use the commutative property that lets us change the order of our terms, we can change the order so that the 3 and 5 are next to each other and the x squared and the x cubed are next to each other. We can only do this, however, because all four parts are multiplied together. Now we can use the associative property that allows us to group factors together differently, to group the numbers together and group the x's together. Finally, we can multiply 3 by 5 to get 15 as the coefficient of our answer, and x squared by x cubed to get x to the 5th as our new kind of term for our answer, 15x to the 5th. Notice we added the exponent 2 with the exponent 3 to get the 5th power for x in our answer. Let's try one more. 9xy to the 4th times 7x squared y squared. First, we multiply the coefficient 9 by the coefficient 7. 9 times 7 is 63. Next, we multiply x to the first power by x to the second power, so we add the exponents 1 plus 2 to get x cubed. Finally, we multiply y to the 4th by y squared to get y to the 4 plus 2 power, which is y to the 6th. Now we have our final answer, 63x to the 3rd, y to the 6th. Next, let's try multiplying two binomials together. The quantity 2x plus 4 times the quantity 5x minus 3. First, we need to consider the distributive property. We can distribute the entire binomial 2x plus 4 to the 5x and the minus 3. Now we need to distribute again. We distribute the 5x to the first 2x and plus 4, and the negative 3 to the second 2x and plus 4. Completing the multiplication, we get 10x squared plus 20x minus 6x minus 12. We still have two like terms to combine, so we need to simplify 20x minus 6x to get our final answer, 10x squared plus 14x minus 12. While it is important to understand this concept of double distribution, there is an easy way to remember how to multiply binomials, the FOIL method. Let's consider this problem again to see what FOIL means. F stands for first. We multiply the first term of each binomial together. In this case, we'll multiply 5x by 2x. O stands for outer. If you look at the arrangement of the terms of the binomials, the 2x and the minus 3 are the outermost, so we'll multiply those together. I stands for inner. Again, looking at the arrangement of the terms, the plus 4 and the 5x are in the middle, or the innermost. So we'll multiply those together. L stands for last. We multiply the second or last term of each binomial together. Positive 4 times negative 3. If you look closely, you can see that we get the same 4 terms we got with the first method. 5x times 2x, negative 3 times 2x, 5x times 4, and negative 3 times 4. So our final answer will obviously end up the same. Since multiplying binomials is such an important concept, let's try another one. The quantity 7x minus 8 times the quantity 6x plus 5. First, we need to multiply the first terms, 7x and 6x, to get 42x squared. Next, we multiply the outer terms, 7x and 5, to get 35x. Then we multiply the inner terms, negative 8 and 6x, to get negative 48x. And finally, we multiply the last terms, negative 8 and 5, to get negative 40. So you see we have the result 42x squared plus 35x minus 48x minus 40. But there are some like terms we can combine. If we combine 35x with the minus 48x, we get negative 13x. So our final answer is 42x squared minus 13x minus 40. Don't forget that FOIL only works when we have two binomials, but the principle of distribution is the same no matter what polynomials we have. Let's look at an example of multiplying two trinomials to see what we mean. Let's multiply the trinomial 2x squared plus 4x minus 5 with the trinomial x squared minus 3x plus 1. Since the principle of distribution is key here, what we need to do is simply distribute each term in the first trinomial to each term in the second trinomial. This means we're going to have to distribute 9 times, so it's important that we work carefully and neatly to keep track of all those terms. First, let's distribute the 2x squared to each of the terms in the second trinomial. 2x squared times x squared is 2x to the fourth. 2x squared times 3x is minus 6x cubed. And 2x squared times 1 is 2x squared. Next, we need to distribute the plus 4x to each of the terms in the second trinomial. 4x times x squared is 4x cubed. 4x times the minus 3x is a minus 12x squared. And 4x times 1 is 4x. Finally, we need to distribute the minus 5 to each of the terms in the second trinomial. Negative 5 times x squared is negative 5x squared. Negative 5 times the minus 3x is positive 15x. And negative 5 times 1 is minus 5. Now all the distributing is done, and all we have to do is combine any like terms there happen to be. Here's a little trick that can help you with this. You'll notice that as I wrote down the terms when I was distributing, I wrote each set of 3 on a separate line so the terms were in columns, and made each row shift over one column. Many times, if you do this, each column will contain sets of like terms. So we just need to add down the columns to get our simplified answer. Double check to make sure this works, but often it will. In this example, our first column only has the 2x to the fourth in it. And if you look at the other terms we got, none of them have an x to the fourth. So the first term of our final answer is 2x to the fourth. In the second column, we have all the terms with x cubed. Negative 6x cubed plus 4x cubed equals negative 2x cubed. The x squareds are in the third column. 2x squared minus 12x squared is negative 10x squared, minus 5x squared is negative 15x squared. The fourth column has the x's. 4x plus 15x equals 19x. And finally, the last column has the constant minus 5. So now we have distributed every term in the first trinomial to every term in the second trinomial and combined all the like terms to get our final answer, 2x to the fourth minus 2x cubed minus 15x squared plus 19x minus 5. Multiplying polynomials is a crucial skill to master as you learn algebra, and mastery takes a lot of practice. So take some time to work through the activities until you really understand the concept and can multiply with relative ease.